Hello and welcome to Intuitive Insights. On this channel, we discuss everything to do with the ascension process. I want to welcome back all of our subscribers, and I want to welcome anyone who's new. We are so glad that you found us. Today, we're going to be doing a different kind of reading. I've noticed that, at least in my own life, there's been a lot of shadow material that's been coming up lately, which makes sense. You know, we have a ton of planets in retrograde right now. We have so much intensity happening astrologically, right? And just the ascension process is just continuing to pick up speed. And so as that process intensifies, more of that stuff is sort of shaken loose so that we can kind of move beyond it, right? And so I figured if that's happening for me, that's probably happening for you guys too, because I feel that, I mean, we're all connected, right? But the people that find this channel, our energy is very much connected, and we kind of go through a lot of the same stuff. So it seemed like it would be relevant for a lot of people, and I thought that it would probably be helpful, just because sometimes when this shadow stuff comes up, it's a little bit confusing, because it's not like it just manifests instantly as this flash of insight of like, oh, this is what's going on. Oh, this is what that pattern's about. Oh, this is what these heavy emotions are about that I'm purging. And so like getting a little bit of help sort of understanding or knowing what it is that's going on can, I think, really help facilitate this process and moving through that and releasing some of this stuff a little more smoothly. And honestly, I was just curious to see what was going to come up. So we're going to get into that. We're going to be looking, and we're going to start with the Earth Magic Oracle cards today. And yeah, we're just going to look into what are some of these energies? What are some of these past life energies that are coming up that we're clearing or working through? A lot of it, for a lot of us, I think, is past life stuff. And I started to think about it, and I realized that really everything that we go through in this lifetime is a past life thing for the most part, right? Until we've closed out all of those cycles, a lot of that shadow stuff, like it's not like it just comes up in this lifetime and it's the first time. It's like we're working through these issues from our past lives and we're clearing that energy. And then, you know, we start experiencing new things once we've cleared that energy. But a lot of the stuff that comes up in our lifetimes, even the stuff in our childhood, like it's coming up because of past life energies. You know, and we say past life, right? Like time is fluid, it's everything simultaneous, right? But for the purposes of this video and the purposes of linear time and three-dimensional reality, we would call them past lives, right? So it's like this energy that we carry with us from these experiences and these traumas from other lifetimes, and we just keep working through until we can release them, until we really learn the lesson, until we forgive ourselves. That's been coming up a lot, at least personally for me, is the forgiveness piece. And it's like, what do we forgive if we don't know what's wrong, right? Or if we don't know where it's coming from. So yeah, we're going to look into the past life energies and the shadow aspects that are coming up for people right now during this Pluto retrograde, Pluto and Saturn retrograde, I think especially is bringing up a lot of this stuff, but we've also got the Venus, the Jupiter retrogrades. I mean, we've just so much, right? And so yeah, we're just going to get into that and see what the cards have to say about it, see what messages come through for us. So what shadow material are we working through? That's a lot of cards. What shadow material past life issues are we working through? Okay, and actually we're going to stop right here for right now. So we're getting the Promise card, the New Moon card. And immediately when this card popped out, what I thought was promises that weren't kept. Promises that we made to another, or that were made to us by another, that weren't kept. And so you can see you have the two people sitting down here, right, in the sunset. And so, yeah, I'm feeling that as promises and vows that we made to one another in past lifetimes that weren't honored for whatever reason. We have the Passion card here too, right? So they're very, like, a lot of really passionate energy, a lot of yeah, just these intensely passionate connections that we had with people, and these promises that we made or that were made to us that weren't fulfilled, and sort of the way that the sense of abandonment that triggered in people, right? That we carry with us into this lifetime. The distrust. There's a lot of us who have trust issues, right? We struggle with believing people when they say things. We don't expect people to follow through on their actions. We expect to be betrayed. We expect to be abandoned. We expect to be left. And a lot of this has to do with promises that weren't fulfilled in other lifetimes. And for some of us, we could be having relationships with people in this lifetime where we carry this energy from a past lifetime. And it sort of influences the way that we interact with them in this lifetime. And yeah, we have people who made promises to us who are possibly, I think, also going to remember those vows and remember those promises and come back around to mend that energy. I'm noticing this is the new moon card, right? So perhaps around the new moon, which is happening tomorrow, some of those memories are going to surface, or we have a video that I did on the new moon, which was a really interesting video because the reading that came out was not anything that I expected. But it was really interesting guidance moving forward. So it almost felt like whatever was going to happen with the new moon, that was the guidance for what to do after. Not necessarily the energy of the moon itself, but the guidance for like how we then pursue our or make into reality sort of the realizations and the understandings that we gain from that new moon. But yeah, so I'm feeling the new moon energy heavily with that. That's a video that you guys may want to check out. But yeah, just the remembering of that, and sort of like the passion and the fire and the passion that sort of ignites within us once we start to remember these things, right? And the perspective, like it's all about, and that was in the new moon video too, right? Like expanding our perspective. Like that's been a huge thing for a lot of us that we've been working on, is perspective. And I'm feeling these two cards as sort of like a lot of us, there's aspects of the fiery parts of our nature that's sort of shadow stuff that's coming up. So a lot of our hidden passions, a lot of that kind of heated sort of energy that's coming up within us. And so those, like when that fiery passionate energy comes up in us, it's just like wanting to understand sort of like where that's coming from, right? And so it's, for a lot of us, we're being triggered by issues from our past. I'm feeling for some people there's like anger issues that are coming up, or just noticing those little triggers of like what like makes us fiery in a way that's like combative, right? And it's sort of like learning how to channel that energy into what's worth fighting for. So I think that's coming up as well. And just like just lots of passion being ignited, and just understanding. I'm just, with the perspective card too, I'm getting like, just when we have these intense emotions come up, it's sort of like stepping back to get that higher perspective, and sort of being open to like, okay, so if I am being triggered in a positive or a negative way by this, like what about this situation? Like what could that possibly be bringing up for me? Like why is that coming up? Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting too with this passion card. I'm feeling like, it just feels to me like he's in a cave. Like he's in a cave, and he's creating, this fire, and the fire is the light, and just that guiding light. It's sort of like, I feel as though with this passion card too, it's like somebody was in the darkness, and then this passion lit this light, and now it's like they can see their way out because of the light coming in, because of the light that was lit by this person or this situation or this realization or whatever it was, that's now showing them the way home. It's showing them the way out. And so for some of us, it's looking at, if it's passions in the way of anger or stuff like that, it's like understanding or sort of like getting the perspective of like why it is, like what do I have to believe is true in order to be having this reaction, or like what protective instincts in me are being triggered, right? Like what wounding in me is being triggered. And then for some others, it's just like these epiphanies and realizations and this just reignited passion for the things that matter. Just remembering and having passions being stirred that go back many lifetimes. There's a strong connection to multiple lifetimes with this energy, and just passion that it's like connected to this card as well, to the promise card. It's like passion that goes back many, many lifetimes. And then, we have the perspective card. So I think that's mostly just about shifting our perspective, getting that sort of that higher perspective. I don't know. We'll come back to that. I feel like for some of you too, this is just like, it's the Milky Way, right? It's like that cosmic energy, that portal, right? So it's like, portals to other worlds and other dimensions, and past life memories for some of you guys of your lifetimes in other, for our star seeds and stuff like that, of like of other incarnations on other planets and in other solar systems, right? In other Milky Ways, other galaxies, and just like really opening up. I'm seeing this energy like if it were right above the third eye here, and just pulling in all of that knowledge and those memories. So it's like we are, and here too, it's like our passion is leading us to unlock these soul gifts. Like we're unlocking soul gifts and from other lifetimes as well. And we're just really connecting with the wisdom from past lives. And as we do unlock some of these soul gifts, like that does stir up, like a lot of these gifts were buried because of the trauma related to utilizing them in past lifetimes. And so as we unlock these gifts, a lot of that heaviness comes up with it, and a lot of that fear and anxiety and insecurity. And so we have to allow that to move through. We have to work through that in order to be able to utilize them and express them in this lifetime. And we really were meant to. So I'm seeing that as well with this card. And then I'm seeing with the solitude, I'm feeling people who are dealing with issues of being ostracized, being sort of shut out in the cold. And this goes back a little bit to the abandonment energy, right? But it's just sort of like lifetimes where we spent a lot of time alone and not of our own choosing. And sort of like, just lifetimes where people that we loved were lost to us. We were lost, we were shunned, and this could be connected to the past life gifts as well, right? Like sometimes utilizing those and the ways in which we utilize those, and the guilt that we feel possibly for some of the ways that we utilize those, caused us to be sort of like shut out by our tribe, shut out by our people. We were sort of forced into solitude, or just this having spent a lot of time in solitude, and just just feeling, working through the feelings of that and the feelings of loss, and I just feel really alone. It's interesting because this card, I mean, it's a beautiful card, right? And there's the light shining through, there's this beautiful tree. It's like, it says island, I'm just noticing as I'm holding this up, right? So it's like, it looks like a beautiful place, and it is, but like there's nobody to share that beauty with, because whatever is going on this island, wherever we're here alone. And so just that energy of really like being alone and feeling sort of like misunderstood, and feeling as if like Yeah, just feeling misunderstood and feeling really just disconnected and unloved. That's heavy energy that I'm picking up from that betrayal. Um, just all of those, all of that stuff. And then we have the shaman right here, ancient healing wisdom on the bottom of the deck. And so this card could be connected in some parts to this card. This to me feels as though like there are energies, you know, there are many of us probably who were shamans and who were people of this nature for our tribes in different lifetimes, right? And so, oh, he just looks so wise, but also like kind of sad. Like there's an emptiness in the eyes of this card right now when I'm looking at it. So it's sort of like stuff around that from past lifetimes as well, being that shaman in that tribe, being that person, that healer, and then things just going wrong where that's concerned. Like I'm feeling a lot of loss, I'm feeling a lot of heaviness around this lifetime for a lot of us. Maybe this was, you know, our people we felt turned against us, or just some sort of tragedy that struck during that lifetime, and healing the energy of that and regaining our own innate wisdom through that process. Yeah. Let's find out a little bit more about that. Tell us about the Solitude card. We have emotional loss and accelerated motion. Choose wisely. Okay. So I feel as though there was a lot of loss. You know, that was the energy that I was picking up on. But even though there was loss, it was also a lifetime where we were able to, I mean, if you look at her, she's just noticing this star, right? So it's like we were able to, in that lifetime, those of us that this applies to, we experienced a lot of loss, and maybe some of us sort of exiled ourselves as a result of this loss and the burden of this loss, which was just too heavy to bear. And there was a lot of spiritual healing that took place, which is, now I can see that with the purple tree, right? And the light coming through. So there was a lot of illumination that occurred as a result of this. And like spiritually, like this was a lifetime that did evolve us very much spiritually. But there's still like a heaviness there that for some of us is wanting to be cleared. And I'm getting right now just like that some of us may want to return to the place where this occurred. So I don't know how we would know that. I mean, this card says island. So I may be in meditation, just asking if any of that is resonating with you, just asking to be returned to that place. Or if we have like an inkling of where it is, or all of a sudden we start thinking about this because this energy sort of resonates with us, and then all of a sudden a place keeps popping up and we're like, oh, that's interesting, why does that keep coming up? Like that may be a place that we want to return to be able to heal some of that energy. So either physically return or spiritually return, right? And maybe that's what the accelerated motion is about too. Because this would be the Eight of Wands in the traditional deck, which is also about like movement and travel and stuff like that. So it may be, it may be returning to that. Yeah. And it's weird because it's also connecting me to the perspective card and just the galactic part of that. So like some of us may be wanting to return to other locations in other galaxies and stuff like that where we came from, and we can do that in meditation. I've done that before, asked to be connected to my family of light, asked to go home, kind of thing, right? And just seeing where the energies took me and being open to that. So that may be a thing as well, for some of you, is like gaining the perspective and of, you know, returning to gain, to just to know, just to be there, just to experience that again. And then we have choose wisely, which is interested. So this is just having lots and lots of different options. And so, yeah, I'm really not sure what that means in conjunction to all of this, but it's almost like I'm feeling that, like, for someone, there were so many different options that it's almost like you didn't make a choice. And so I don't know how that energy is connected to the solitude card, but that energy is coming through. So many options that you didn't make a choice, because you are afraid of making the wrong one. And how that energy is sort of playing out again in this lifetime. And like part of how we close out that cycle is by this time making a choice and really going within in order to figure out what choice it is that is the one that we should make, you know, because it says choose wisely. So it's like we are putting thoughts and energy into making the choice that's appropriate for us. But it's actually making that choice this time around. And then let's clear. And then interestingly enough, under that we had passion ignited. So how about, tell us about the shaman card, more about the shaman card. Okay, so we got conflict and defeat, partnerships and alliances were the first two cards that came out. So yeah, it feels as though people that you were aligned with in this lifetime, those that chose you to lead, perhaps the other elders in the tribe, anyone that you were sort of partnered with or that you worked closely with, that those close to you. There was a lot of conflict around power, around them being threatened by your power, around them not wanting you to have the kind of power that you had. The shaman is supposed to be it's the medicine man or the medicine woman, right? It's supposed to be the one that everyone goes to, that offers advice for the tribe, that walks between the worlds, right? And gathers that information. And so maybe perhaps some of the information that you gathered was not being trusted. Perhaps you were stabbed in the back by other members of the tribe. There was a lot of painful betrayal type energy associated with that lifetime and the things that happened. His eyes are just so, they're wise, but they're weary. They're weary, and they're just weary. So just really feeling as though you were fighting so hard for your people, and it's just like they could not see that. They could not see and they could not understand that for whatever reason. And maybe having fears of stepping back into that role in this lifetime simply because of all of that. Because you know what happens when we put ourselves out there and we share the message and we share the wisdom that we're gaining, and people react negatively to that. And so I think in that lifetime as well, you may have retreated into solitude. But then we have the Hope card, which is the star card on the bottom of the deck. I'm on the bottom of the deck in the traditional tarot, right? So this is about it's about healing and forgiveness and just like connection to our spiritual spiritual gifts. Just lots of beautiful healing energy typically associated with this card. And this time I'm noticing like there's actually, oh wow, there's a guy in the middle, but there's also like little, it almost looks like more people all around the edges too. I don't know if you can see any of that. Yeah, so that's really interesting. It's almost like I see it as like the sun child. It's like this it's like an ascended master. This is an ascended master. That's what I feel like. So perhaps some of you were ascended masters in other lifetimes, or you were connected to or connected with and guided by the ascended masters. This card is just ascension in general. Like there was an ascension process, or it will be an ascension process, or sort of elevating to that spiritual, I wanted to say status. I don't know if status is the right word, but yeah, through this and through the process of also, like, this is a goal, right? And it's through this process of also working through this fear and this pain around this conflict and defeat, and being willing and able to step outside of our comfort zone and attempt to create partnerships and alliances with people again, to work through that betrayal energy. And part of how we might work through that in this lifetime is by opening up to this again. And then it really elevates our own spiritual journey. And which elevates everyone's. I mean, it's like the influence. It's making me think of the influence of a single person and how that connects to the entire world, and that ripples out. And that's why these all looked like little people to me around the edges. And it's that opening up. I mean, we have the heart chakra on the bottom of the deck, right? So it's like really opening up that heart chakra, allowing ourselves to get back into that place of that Christ consciousness, that unconditional love, right? Allowing our hearts to open again, allowing in these other connections, moving out of this space of solitude and exile, self-exile for a lot of us actually, and moving back into this place of hope and just understanding that we can make a difference. That's a huge thing that I'm getting from this card too, is just understanding the huge difference that even one person's energy can make. And just really, as we open back up our heart chakras, like for a lot of us, a lot of this stuff is stuff that was blocking our heart chakra. And so as our heart chakra is activating, we are releasing a lot of this old trauma, and this passion is being ignited within us again, right? It's the light that shows the way out of the cave. And that shows the way out of the cave, that broadens our perspective, and that helps us to step into balance. Yeah, balance, which is, I believe, the Justice card in the traditional tarot. But this is just like, it reminds me of the Magician card too, because he's got all of the suits there. It's like, it helps us, we get our wings. We get our wings when we're able to open up this heart chakra, to allow these energies to clear, to move beyond the old limiting stories of our past. Then we're able to really shine, and we're able to really affect and impact the collective in the way that we want. And yeah, we like, it's a spiritual status upgrade. Like, it really is. Like, I can't, it sounds weird and silly to say it like that, but I mean, it's, that's, we get our wings. We step into our ability to co-create with the universe, and to help to bring in this new era of consciousness and this new era of humanity, where we all are we step back into our divinity, right? We step back into our divinity and our full empowerment. And then we also have the throat chakra. So this is another energy. And what I'm getting from this is just fears of speaking our truth, fears of being seen, and fears of being heard because of how that went for us in past lifetimes, and how we're clearing out a lot of that energy too. And part of how we do that is by using our throat, is by speaking our truth, is by learning how to do that. Even if in the beginning, when we're doing that, it's a little bit shaky at first. Like our voice isn't steady, our voice isn't as firm as we would like, but we go through that process and we continue to learn how to do that. And the more we practice learning how to do that, the easier it becomes, and the more we are able to speak with authority, and the more we're able to just express ourselves. Like the throat chakra is the seat of our truth. And so, yeah, those of us who were afraid to connect with our truth, or afraid to speak our truth because of anything that had happened in past lifetimes, and just allowing that process and facilitating that healing process by just practicing doing that, even if it's just out loud to ourselves in the mirror at first, even if it's just speaking to our guides at first, however it is that we do that, just getting that practice and like clearing that energy. And song and music is coming to me too. So for some it's through singing. That can be helpful, right? Anything that we do that just helps to get that energy moving, right? It's all about getting that energy moving. And then we have emotional withdrawal. And so this is just, some of this energy I think was associated with this throat chakra card is just that. No, and not in a negative way. This is so this is us just withdrawing and taking that time for ourselves. It's as we learn how to clear this chakra, as we learn how to stand in our truth, we're going to want to sort of withdraw for a little bit and retain our equilibrium, retain our balance, and like connect with our peace, connecting with ourselves, just like this guy is in prayer. So I guess that's kind of reminding me of, and then it's like he has this beautiful light body behind him, right? So this is his own beautiful energy. This is also the energy of his guides standing behind him, his ancestors. And just like I said, like taking that time to withdraw so that we can understand our truth. And then just that practice of even just, like we said, like speaking with spirit and like utilizing and practicing doing that in that way. Yeah. And then we have the fertility card. And so this would be the Empress in the traditional tarot. And so I'm just noticing she has like the fully activated heart chakra here too. She has that beautiful green light coming out of her. And then she has just all this light around her in these very interesting shapes. And she's also got the trees coming out of her, the branches and stuff growing out of her hair. So it's just like being really rooted firmly in the earth. And, for some, I think the fertility card, it's also about the mother energy, right? Like the Empress is the mother. So a lot of this, there may be stuff coming up for some people around their mothers, healing that mother energy, having been mothers and healing the energy and any trauma that was associated with that in past lifetimes. Because you see, she's got her hands down here. It's like she's cradling her stomach, or she's cradling a baby. So it's like, and the baby, you can't see the baby, right? And she's also cradling, it's below, but then her heart's up here. So it's like she's loving herself. She's forgiving herself. And she's just understanding that, regardless of anything that happened with this energy, with this mother energy in a past life, like that does not change the fact that she is a beautiful, creative, nurturing being, and just allowing, like, coming back into that nurturing of ourselves, like coming back into that nurturing and that it's coming back to the forgiveness piece, that forgiveness of ourselves. And yeah, just healing around all of that, healing around the mother, healing around past lives, issues that may have happened in past lives with children. Lifetimes where we lost children, lifetimes when we gave up children, times that maybe we didn't have children that we thought that maybe we were meant to have. Just a lot of stuff around all of that, and just reclaiming the feminine power. That's what I'm feeling too, is reclaiming our feminine power and our creative power. Because she is so centered and she is so connected to everything. She just understands how she is connected to everything. Like that womb, that sacred feminine energy, like that is the connection to all of creation. That is the Earth Mother energy. And just coming back into that energy for all of us. And this isn't just for people who are women in this incarnation. This is for all of the feminine aspects of ourselves, and just learning how to honor those aspects of ourselves and not to judge ourselves for any issues at any times in past lifetimes where we feel that we may not have honored that energy the way that we wish that we had. So that's what we've got for that. Let me see. Oh, this actually hasn't been too long. So we're going to grab an Isis card. Past life energies, shadow material that we are clearing out. Past life energies and shadow material that we are clearing out. Okay. So it says, stay true and be in your power. Osiris and Isis, Lord and Lady of Divine Authority. It's the first card that we got. And then the second card that we got was Healing the Divine Masculine. Osiris rises. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have Flower of Life, Divine Creativity and Manifestation. So, yeah, so for a lot of us, this is staying true to ourselves. This is, in this lifetime, staying true to ourselves. And it's also we're healing the bond between the masculine and the feminine energy with the Osiris and Isis, and it's going to talk about that in here. So I'm going to let the book sort of tell us the story of that, if they do. But it's interesting that it came up with the Healing the Divine Masculine, because Isis quite literally brought Osiris back to life. So we'll see what it says here. You are a sovereign being with spiritual authority and freedom within you. You do not need permission from anyone to be who you are and live your life as you so choose. This is your divine birthright. Guard it as the precious treasure that it is, and remember you are a divine being. The flail and crook, often held by Osiris, are symbols of divine royalty and dominion. These symbols remind us that within we hold great dominion, spiritual authority, and freedom to be the sovereign ruler of our own self. This does not mean that we have to control life or others or even the environment around us, but it does give us complete and utter choice to become as spiritually awake, free, and self-determined as we wish to be, as well as providing us with complete choice as to what our values and actions will be in this lifetime. And I want to say that with the Healing the Divine Masculine card, this is very much about the masculine aspects of ourself stepping back into their power. And that is the divine masculine energy, right? It's the energy of moving forward. It's the energy of being in our authority, being true to ourselves, standing up for what it is that we believe in, not being affected by the opinions of others, and not allowing ourselves to be disempowered or to step away from our truth or our mission, or the things that we value because other people feel differently. There is no permission required from anyone apart from yourself to be and live your truth. There are many voices that will test you on the journey from illusory shackles of fear, loss, or abandonment that may hold you back or tempt you into giving your power away to others. You shall awaken from the testing into the realization of spiritual independence within. Of course, there is more to spiritual authority than just recognizing that it lies within you. There are times when you must act on it, guard it, and protect it, which means recognizing when others seek to exert influence over you for their own reasons, or when you are being manipulated out of your own authority, becoming blind to your own power of choice, and instead believing that things just are the way that they are and you cannot question or query. Sometimes during such challenges, to wield the crook and flail, to exert one's own spiritual authority, requires that you stand your ground and remain true to your knowing. This is not about achieving a certain outcome, or attempting to control something or someone, or even forcing things to be as you wish they could be. Standing your ground means always telling yourself the truth, and not selling out or giving away something that has genuine spiritual truth and meaning for you. It is not about making another see things the same way. It is about honoring your own truth. And if your truth is wise enough to include compassion, then honoring the other, even when the other disagrees with you or seeks to harm you out of their own fear. You do not have to challenge another in order to honor your truths and inner authority. If you feel that another has to agree with you in order for your authority to be intact, then it isn't genuine inner authority at all. The fact that you don't need to have the agreement of others in order to live an empowered life can be a liberating realization. Yet there are times when life can feel like an assault against your truths, with many challenging you. For those souls who have come to master spiritual authority this lifetime, there is a test. To remain true without becoming dogmatic. To honor what you know is true without minimizing, judging, or dismissing the truths of another that are different to yours, but just as true for them. You have the power to create and own your reality, and you don't need permission from anyone else to do this. Honor your spiritual sovereignty. Let the Lady Isis help you find your spiritual authority and freedom of choice now. And we did not pull that card. This card also guides you to take responsibility for your health into your own hands too. Advice from health professionals and doctors can be helpful and sometimes can be mistaken. It is up to you to decide for yourself how you wish to work with your body. Don't be scared. Listen to the advice given by other professionals, but remember, your life is your spiritual gift. Don't be afraid to live it in your own way. And so, I don't know so much about that. I'm not really feeling that so much right now. But what I am feeling is, so this idea that in a lot of past lifetimes, and, which bleeds over into this lifetime, as we talked about. So this lifetime as well, a lot of us have been afraid to stand in our own authority. We've been afraid to speak up because we didn't think that what we were going to say or the choices that we were going to make were going to be received well by others. And we allowed people to take away our power. And it's more like we gave away our power, right? Because nobody can take anything from us if we don't give it away, especially in a spiritual sense, right? So spiritually, we gave away our power. And we may have done this for a variety of reasons, out of fear, out of obligation, out of whatever it was. And so we're being invited to take our power back, and that's part of the process, and that's what we're healing right now. And how we heal that is by stepping back into our power, is by stepping back into that divine masculine energy, which we're going to read about as well. It's we're learning how to step into our own power, how to be the own authorities in our lives, but to do it in a way that is caring and compassionate and respects everybody else. There may have been other lifetimes where we were very dominating. We had our beliefs and we really enforced those beliefs on other people. Some of us may even have been in positions of authority where we did that. And so there could be guilt associated with that that's really keeping us from stepping into and claiming our full power in this lifetime, because we did abuse that in some ways in the past, or we weren't able to see things from other people's perspectives. So it's working through the fears of that and just knowing that just because things happened in the past doesn't mean that they're going to happen. We don't have to continue that. We can heal that, and we don't have to be afraid of our own power. I think there's a lot of us who are still afraid of our own power. And it's knowing that it's nothing to fear. Like, we are able to, we've done and we're doing so much healing, and we're able to trust ourselves in ways that maybe we weren't able to trust ourselves before. And just releasing the fear of that is another thing that I'm hearing. And it's this beautiful, because you can see in this card, it's Osiris rises, right? And you can see this beautiful divine masculine being, but you see his feminine aspect just behind him, supporting him. And I love that. That's so cool. The divine masculine within men and women is the energy that allows for protection, discernment, healing, and a sense of deep safety and holding, even through the most uncomfortable circumstances of life. When the masculine within us is healthy and strong, we have an inner strength to hold ourselves safe through anything. Your inner masculine is going through healing right now, growing stronger in his ability to offer you inner protection and stability, so that your inner feminine can blossom with creative expression. The inner masculine and inner feminine need each other. When they are in good inner relationship with us, we feel like healthy, whole human beings. We are able to live as ourselves in the world in a relatively peaceful, creative, and enjoyable way. When there is damage to the inner masculine, there is difficulty in standing up for our truths, in knowing what our truths and values are, and in knowing how to protect them without feeling as though we have to fight constantly just to be allowed to be ourselves. We might also feel that unless others see things as we do, we have no power, and then have to fight to dominate others, manipulating them to our point of view. The inner masculine part of us needs healing so that he can fulfill his divine purpose of inner strength, protection, and honoring of the self in all its uniqueness, so that we can live as free, strong individuals that know who they are and are happy to just love and be that person, and allow others to do the same. This will happen at any time he is asked to hold even more consciousness, to hold permission and strength to be even more of the unique self. The masculine and feminine within us need to be in balance with each other. There is no point having a powerful feminine with unique values and strong creative force without an equally strong masculine energy that is able to act upon those unique values, no matter what others may think, and take action to allow the creative force of the inner feminine to flow into form in the physical world. When your inner feminine is growing and desires to express her uniqueness in the world more boldly than ever before, the inner masculine needs to grow in self-belief, self-worth, and self-confidence, so that he may take action to allow the blossoming feminine to truly be in the world whilst feeling secure and safe. This oracle indicates your feminine self is blooming, and your masculine needs to be able to protect and honor her. Sometimes, just as Isis looked for Osiris to help put him back together when he was torn apart by hatred, fear, and jealousy of his dark brother Set, our feminine needs to help the masculine to heal, so he in turn can help her. Your masculine consciousness can be healed and grow stronger through his relationship to the inner feminine within you. By adjusting and healing our own views of masculine energy, so that our feminine is no longer willing to experience masculine energy as violent, aggressive, unfeeling, or controlling, a healing shift begins. The inner feminine can then choose to relate to the inner masculine in a different way, to hold a different vision and different beliefs of who he is, what he can do, and what his purpose might be. She might choose to experience him as a tender, protective, strong, discerning, and stabilizing energy. And so this is a huge shift that a lot of us are going through, where we're shifting the way that we see and understand the expressions of masculine and feminine energy, and the ways that we have expressed those energies in the past, and we have experienced others expressing them toward us. And so it's just a huge shift in all of that, and a lot of the shadow aspects of that and the past life experiences of that coming up. What this looks like in our life experience is a change in how we are within ourselves and with others, and how we move and live and experience the world. We have more of a willingness to be kind to ourselves, to honor our feelings, and to not be bullied into stepping away from our truths by others, or even by our own self-doubt or self-criticism. It is an inner commitment to love and honor the self, and an inner trust in this commitment. So when the feeling arises to try something new creatively or spiritually, for example, there is trust that this will be respected and acted upon, and it is. When the healing of this relationship begins to occur within us, our outer relationships also change and flow into healthier expression. We begin to feel safe, protected, and strong enough to take risks and live a bold, expressive, truthful, and creative life with more energy and passion. This oracle guides you to realize that your inner masculine could benefit from some restoration and healing after being ravaged by expectations that in order to be acceptable, he should never feel anything, that he should always be dominant, and that only the most violent and aggressive alpha masculine behaviors are to be respected. If you are working on this aspect of your own healing, you are encouraged by this oracle that it is working and to stay with your process. You are encouraged to empower your masculine energy, seeing it as tender, protective, containing, strong, and aware. You are also encouraged to continually choose to let go of behaviors that cast the masculine as perpetrator or as dominating. Use your inner feminine courage, trust, and determination to avoid castrating the masculine by considering it weak, useless, or unnecessary. For healing to happen for both masculine and feminine, we must be prepared to let go of feelings of victimization, domination, disappointment, and dissatisfaction, and do the sometimes challenging inner work of learning to relate to masculine and feminine energy with a completely different approach. This can be enough to set healing in motion. It takes persistence, determination, patience, and application for the damaged masculine within us and outside of us to be restored to glory. But with Isis to help us, great healing miracles are made possible. Once the masculine begins to gain strength and be empowered to express itself in a less cliched and more authentic way, we gain the wisdom and power of honoring and boundaries. We learn how to respect and to be respectful without losing our power or becoming servile. We learn how to serve others from a place of empowerment and peace, and we learn how to cut through manipulations and posturing in the world of relationships straight to the truth of a matter. Masculine and feminine energies can then do what they are ultimately destined to do, which is unite in love to create harmony, bliss, and the peaceful fulfillment of our inner wholeness. So that's pretty amazing. And then the flower of life, divine creativity, and manifestation just reminds me of like that inner feminine energy again too, that's there assisting and also growing in this process. So yeah, that's some past life stuff. That's some shadow stuff that we're working on right now. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you and see you all again very soon. Also, just want to throw out there a little housekeeping. Kayla and I both offer readings and energy healing sessions. You can find each of our individual information for that below. Just whichever one of us you resonate with, feel free to reach out. There's also a link to our PayPal if you want to donate to our channel. Help us anchor in that fifth dimensional abundance consciousness where we're all just doing and creating and being who and what we're meant to be in the world, right? Like creating in this new system of abundance, all of that. Or if you like us and you enjoy us and you enjoy all of the free content that we put out that we absolutely love creating for you guys. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. You want to catch more videos, and give some, if you've been experiencing any of this stuff or it resonated for you, definitely feel free to leave a comment. We love hearing feedback from you guys. All right, bye.